Day 51 with taking my life back with the carnivore diet. It's Saturday and today is weight loss and wins along with what I have been eating, and I have a really good recipe to share with you today. Welcome back. If you're new, I'm Karen, and my husband Dan and I are currently working on our personal health. He is on the Carnivore way of eating and I am on the carnivore way of eating. Let's jump right in. This week on the carnivore diet, I lost 0 pounds. And I think I might know a little bit of what happened. One of the things that happened was when I was doing 2 meals a day, I was overeating. Like, I know a couple times I did not stop when I was full just because it tasted good. And that was the old me. So that's something that I need to fix this week. But weight loss isn't constant. So I know that other things are happening in my body because I could tell this week that my pants were really getting loose. And I am to the point where I don't have to stretch the waist at all to button my pants. So I feel like there is something going on. It's just not showing up on the dirty scale. And it probably shouldn't be weighing every week anyway. Next weekend will mark my 60-day update. So I will also be taking measurements and we'll do inches lost as well as pounds lost next week. It'll actually probably only be like day 58, but that's the time that I have to do it. So we'll do a 60-day update next week. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see when I upload that 60-day video. Now, as far as wins, I really think I am liking the 3 days of OMAD every week. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do 1 meal a day, and I just eat dinner on those days. And I do feel like that's working for me. I kind of like the up and down, 2 meals, 1 meal, 2 meals, 1 meal. I really feel like that's a good thing for me. So I may just stick with just like 3 days where I do 1 meal a day. And one other win that I've noticed this week, and again, this is cumulative from all this other stuff that I've talked about, but one simple non-scale victory that I've had this week is I have found that it's a whole lot easier to put my socks on. It's just easier to bend over and get that little job done, and it helps a lot. So that's all I've got for the win part this week. Some of the things that I have been eating in the past week. One of the days I just didn't feel like cooking for myself. Dan also teaches karate. He has a karate school, so 2 nights a week he's gone doing karate, so it's just going to be me. So I went ahead and stopped at McDonald's and got some 1/4 pound patties with cheese on them. However, I'm not really happy about how they packaged it. They flipped them upside down. Then I have to tell you about a huge blunder this week. So I was making taco meat for dinner one night, and I thought I'm going to try these really cool cheese taco shells just made out of shredded cheese. So I shredded up some cheese on a plate, and there were 2 different instructions. There were instructions for the oven, which was I believe 350 degrees for 5 to 7 minutes or something like that until they're brown around the edge. And then there were instructions for the microwave for, like, you know, putting them in for like 1 minute on a paper plate. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do the microwave because it'll just be faster and easier. I put it in there in the microwave, and then when you pull it out, you're supposed to drape it over like the handle of a spoon in between 2 cups or something to give it that taco shell shape. Well, I didn't even make it to the draping part because when I pulled it out, it had so many, you see on the picture here, all those yellow spots are just oil. And I had just shredded I freshly shredded some hard cheddar cheese to do this. And all of that is oil. And it was just a mess. The middle was crispy. The outside was still soft. It was not good. So we actually still used the cheese. We just kind of put it on the bottom of the taco meat and actually still used it. But I'm thinking maybe I should have put those in the oven instead. Or maybe the quality of my cheese that I used just wasn't good enough. If you've made these kind of cheese shells or cheese chips or something like that, let me know in the comments what I should be doing when I'm trying to make that. The other thing we've had this week is last Sunday I smoked some picanha. I talked about picanha on one of my last videos. If you didn't see that, go back and check it out. But I talked about that picanha and I was going to put it in the smoker. I did so last Sunday and it came out pretty flavorful and also really juicy. You can see here me slicing it. There's a lot of juice in that meat. But I will say that Dan and I, we found out that we actually prefer it sliced, spiced on both sides, and fried in a heavy bottom pan. That to us was more tender and more flavorful than what we pulled off the smoker. Now maybe I could do it a different way in the smoker, but honestly I feel like both of us agreed that slicing it and frying it is probably the best way. Now I want to share a recipe with you. This is something called pig shots. If you've never had pig shots, you don't know what they are. They're simple to make, and I like to focus on the simple, especially when I'm sharing a recipe with you guys, because we don't always have a lot of time, and so I figure you probably don't either. So these can be made on the grill. These can be made in a smoker, and I would say they could probably be made in an oven. These would be fantastic for something like tailgating if you are into football, or just any kind of fall barbecue or gathering that you're doing. So what you're going to need for this is 10 ounces of thick cut bacon cut in half. You're also going to need some kielbasa sausage, just like a ring of it. And this is kielbasa sausage, so it's pork sausage, but I'm trying to keep more along the lines of bacon, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. So I used a beef smoked sausage. Then you're going to need a 1/4 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. You're going to need some toothpicks, and you're going to need your favorite rub or seasoning. Now with the seasoning, if you don't want to use any kind of seasoning in yours, you can just use good old salt. So basically you're going to cut up your sausage into like 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch chunks. I did mine a little large. I think I would, if I did this again, which I will, that I would take that down to about a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 of an inch. Then you're going to take your 1/2 slice of thick cut bacon. You're going to wrap it around that pretty tightly, so pull on it a little bit when you're wrapping it. And you're going to secure that with a toothpick through the bacon and sausage. And you'll notice that this makes a little cup, like a shot glass. That's why they call them pig shots. Then you're going to make some filling for the inside. So you'll take your 8 ounces of cream cheese. You'll add in the 1/4 cup of freshly shredded cheddar. And with the seasoning, I would go light on the seasoning at first. So maybe put like a 1/4 teaspoon in, taste it, see what you think. I used too much seasoning to begin with, and so mine were delicious, but I didn't really get that cream cheesy taste because the seasoning was overpowering that flavor of the cream cheese. Now since Dan is ketovore, I wanted to make 1/2 of them with some chopped jalapenos in them, So about 1/8 cup or so of chopped jalapenos will go in after I fill the ones for the carnivore way. So just mix that up and then grab if you have a piping bag, that's great, but you can also just use a Ziploc and cut the corner off and put your filling in that bag. And then you want to fill your pig shots to where it's almost to the top of the bacon, but not going over the bacon. The recipe I followed says to keep them at 350 degrees for 45 minutes to an hour on the grill, on the smoker, and I really think you could probably do them in the oven. My smoker only goes up to 275 degrees, but it still worked just fine. I just needed to cook them a little longer. So here is the finished product. Now keep in mind that if you are not on the carnivore diet or ketovore diet, some people do put like their favorite barbecue sauce over the top partway through. You can do that or not do that. It's not really recommended for either the carnivore diet or the ketovore diet. The carnivore way of eating sure is tasty. Let me know what you think of this recipe down in the comments. You do have an assignment this week, and that is to go out and make something good happen for someone else. See you for the midweek motivation this week, and next weekend we'll do that 60-day update. Have a good weekend. Until next time.